Hello, this is Dan S. I have not made a YouTube video in quite a while. I haven't had much of a reason to, but this is a follow-up for my 2019 accounts, goals, and mindset video, just going over how we're looking in current year 2020. It's been almost exactly a year since I uploaded the last video, so figured I would come back and see how I'm doing compared to what I was talking about last year. I'll kind of give a summary of what I talked about in the previous year for each of the accounts, but if you would rather see the whole video, it's about 10 minutes long. I'll have it linked in the description if you want the double header. But yeah, I have here Dan S, which is my main account, or normally thought to be my main account. However, it is flatlined. Max stats. I hopped on it a few times during the year. I kept up Quest Cape, I think. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, I need From the Exiles and Song of the Elves still. But pretty much flatlined around May on this account, I'm pretty sure. This time last year in the previous video, I said that this was by far the account I felt most forced to play. Pretty much just did a bank standard skill, woodcutting, or agi for quite a while, because it was something that I needed to do to feel like I was contributing to the community, I guess. But for the last 7 months or so, it's just been totally backseated. I'll have on the screen here what my gains were for the previous year, but I pretty much already covered it. It's a bank standard, it's NMZ, woodcutting, whatever. Just kind of hanging out while doing things on other accounts, but ultimately decided to just park this account. I could very easily see myself making a comeback to this account, whether that's for a competition, or if there are skilling methods that come out, or if there's skilling methods that I've done in the past that I want to return to, that I wouldn't feel motivated to get the requirements for, so like Black Gins or something. I don't think I would ever really conceivably do on one of my other accounts. If I feel like doing that method, chances are this account's just getting bonded up. Same with things like swimming, or maybe some other method just seems like a lot of fun for a while. But overall, not too much to talk about this account because it's flatlined. Up next, I have Kurari. This is my main alt, which has pretty much just transformed into like a pretty shitty main, doing a lot of requirements and stuff just for diaries or anything that can help me. I'll probably go out of my way to get a skill requirement or whatever on this account. Quickly, just to show everything for the future, I've got my quest points, which I completed the quest cape on this account. I'm pretty sure it's actually just totally done with everything. Yeah. In terms of questing, total level, we're sitting at 2070. I'll put a screenshot up here just if you want to look at what's changed between this year and the previous year on this account. Not too much skilling has gotten done here. It's been mostly pet hunting. Maybe I'll show HP. That's just kind of a good benchmark for how much combat's been done on the account. But not too much skilling on here besides some diary requirements and stuff. So not that much. And then for diaries, which is another thing that I'll potentially be finishing up on this account at some point. Recently finished the wilderness one. It looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 done. I think we were at 3 last year. So some potentially bad ones. Like I don't think I could ever see myself doing Mauritania Elite because fishing to 91 or whatever is just like a pain that I would rather not deal with. But maybe we'll see a diary cape on this account at some point. In terms of pets, this is my pet tab / loot tab. We're looking at 6 right now. A lot of these came way faster than I expected, and it's almost to the point where I'm now really looking for pets that I want to do. A lot of them seem blocked behind this giant Slayer wall that'll probably get tackled at some point this year, but it's either intensive methods to do doloing and stuff, or just something that doesn't seem that fun to me. So potentially either this year I start the Slayer grind, or potentially do Wilderness Pets followed by like God Wars Pets or something, minus, I guess Kriara and Krill are both pretty much Slayer bosses too. So yeah, I don't really see myself not getting around the big Slayer grind there at some point this year. But still pet hunting on this account, still doing random dumb completionist stuff, maybe some collection log stuff like the Champion's Cape or something like that this year. This is kind of just a dumb account. It can almost do whatever I want it to at this point, to be honest. So maybe more skilling, probably more pets. Then we've got the boring fucking account, Ririka. This account is currently in the process of becoming a Dragon Slayer 2 account. Oh god, I don't know why I said it like that. A Rune Dragon account. Purely out of boredom, I'm doing Blood Runes on the main account. Well, the account that I'm playing most actively right now, which will come after this. So while bored doing that, I'm just doing some prereqs for Dragon Slayer 2, followed by a whole bunch of questing, although not really that much. We've got 164 quest points, so not that far off from that 200 mark. Shouldn't take me too long to finish that up, and then it'll be nice to have another account in my back pocket, I guess. Currently just getting 68 mining, but this account still doesn't do that much. It's pretty rarely bonded. If this gets any use this year, I would expect it because it's the Dolo account to Kurari, so tanking Bandos or Krill, or, you know, you use a second account at pretty much every boss in PVM nowadays. So this is the account that I would expect to be accompanying Kurari everywhere. It doesn't have much else going on it right now. It's capable of doing Zulrah and a bunch of other things, but hopefully Dragon Slayer 2 plus just close to maxed combat stats and everything end up being enough. This Bodhi meme is not intentional, I swear. But yeah, I would hope to see that this account grows a decent amount in the next year, but mostly it's just going to become way more useful rather than a lot more stats and everything. And then this is 111 Fishkite 1. It's my Ultimate Iron Man. It is the account that I've been most motivated to play in the last year, by far. It's a very rewarding account to play, but everyone has heard a burnt out main say how rewarding their Iron Man is a million times, so I won't bore you with that content. Right now I'm doing RC to 99 in order to get the free crafting and mining XP that you get from that, as well as GP, which is going to be useful on this account for a few other things I have in mind for it. And then 99 RC itself makes Mornings in Part 2 just a little bit easier. But that's kind of the short-term goal. Sitting at 91 right now, 91.5-ish it looks like, I don't know. The driving force behind this account is still farming. Big fan of the Kebos Lowlands, which I mentioned in the last year review, but it really re-inspired this account and how I view it in terms of being able to keep up with farming and everything. It's a lot of fun doing contracts and then eventually switching from contract to herb run mode. Pretty enjoyable stuff to do. Continue to skill on this account. I'll put up, yeah, so these are the stats that I had last year. Sorry that some of them are grayed out, but it was free to play at the time. I've trained more combats in the last year than I expected to. I expected this to always just stay like a dorky mid-level account, but with wanting to do stuff like kill quest bosses without worrying too much and kill Hespori consistently with minimal gear requirements, I would expect this account's combat stats to continue to increase. The long-term goals for this year is to get into the elf place, which would mean completing Song of the Elves, which has a few requirements around it, and then I also need to figure out how to kill the boss, so probably need to do Desert Treasure and train my magic somehow, as well as do things like get my, actually use the bagged herb lore that I currently have. I think I've got around 80 or so herb lore in the bag right now from contracts that I did for a few months last year. So I'll have to cash that in at some point, which has a whole bunch of requirements around before I even do that. You need to do Desert Hard, among a few other things. But anyway, need to get in the elf place. Farm runs are pretty well set up at this point, but throughout the year I would like to unlock any patches that I don't already have, and maybe some of the perks like Kandarin Diary and things like that, just to increase herb yield and unlock new herb patches and everything. So when I do eventually just sit there and spam farming and thieving or agi or fishing or whatever, I'll be able to do, like, get the most out of those runs. I participated in a few competitions in the last year. I'm finding myself increasingly motivated by those external factors. So a few different bingos, maybe like an EHP comp or two on this account. I would expect to continue to seek out participating in those, although I find it increasingly difficult to do the managing side of those types of competitions. Just not something that, like, I have that same drive to do as I used to when I did like fantasy EHP and stuff. But potentially could see myself hosting some stuff for the Ultimate community, because hosting is different than managing, obviously. You kind of have a more moderating presence there. Still not a fan of Slayer-based combat, which is something I talked about in last year's review, or Slayer-based account. Like, you can pretty much do a lot of things. If you want GP, you can get it through Slayer. If you want Herblore XP, whatever, you can do it all through Slayer if you want to, but that's not really how I'm looking to take this account. I'll get to 65 for Desert Hard, and potentially camp for a Dust Staff at some point, which would be pretty awful. I probably won't do that, actually. That sounds terrible. But 65 for Desert Hard, and that's probably in-game Slayer on this account. I can't imagine myself really wanting to grind 99. But I don't know. I've rambled about this account for a while longer, and this is also the account that if I make any YouTube videos this year, they would be around this account, as long with streams and anything else. So I'll leave those future plans and rambles for a later date. And last year I mentioned that there could be new accounts added to that list of accounts that I reviewed last year. I've made and left several accounts. At one point in the Skilling Methods Discord, 20,000 plus members and growing, there was a Essence running guide written that needed to be tested. So I made an account and leveled it up to 75 RC and did like the lunar quests and like the few quests that are required, and did the sand crabs and the NMZ and everything on it. But that account's dead in the water. Will never be logged into again, probably. Potentially we'll have new accounts in the next year. However, I don't really see myself making any formally limited account, meaning Iron, Hardcore, Group, or Ultimate, just because this account kind of does everything I'm looking for from that game mode already. So yeah, until, well, the next video, but also until next year when I go over my account statuses again. See you guys later. Thanks for watching.